Thank you for joining us for the latest episode number 4 of Movers and Shakers. Today, we are on site for the first time at Blackburn Brew House. And joining me today is the sales manager for Blackburn, Chris. Chris, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
And we're going to dive right in and get right into the heart of it. You walked me through the back here with all the beer tanks. I have no idea how any of that works. Why don't we start with the process?
Okay. Yeah, it's I kind of simplify it down to saying it's a weird bread tea. So you're mostly taking grain, getting sugars out, and turning those into alcohol. It's kind of the very simplified form of brewing.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can talk like for hours. I'm not a brewer by any means. I kind of absorb where I can, but for the most part, you're going through the brew house. You're taking grain we mill on site. And then depending on your recipe, you've got different specialty grains. You take those and break them down, extract the sugars, condense them. And then at that point, it kind of becomes wort is the word for it. So, yeah, bread tea, essentially.
Bread tea.
Yeah. So I know we did some stuff out of the tank there. So you have at different stages, it tastes very cereal and grainy, right? And it's very much like a raw bread dough.
Totally not what you would expect. Like you smell it, you see it, and then you taste it. Well, that's not what I expected.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's sweet and very not beery for the most part, right? Yeah. So you're looking at that almost like a pasta water, if that makes sense, right? That kind of starchy or So so you start out with wort, which is essentially a sweet grain, and then you let yeast do its magic. So you've got, at that point, we actually already have like 3 major flavor components, right? Your brewery water, the grain you've used, and then the yeast you've pitched. They all have very distinct profiles and tastes that contribute to the final product.
Okay, so like that's what, so like crick water, and then...
That's water straight from the crick.
Oh, okay. And then Screaming Tunnel,
yeah,
which is one of my favorites.
Yep.
I was at Empty Bellies in Welland, cool little restaurant in Welland.
Great people.
Fantastic people. And they had it there. I was blown away to see that, and I loved it. And I had that one with my burger, and it was like amazing.
Yep.
So what's your favorite?
I vary. I'm very much like a one of everything, two of everything kind of guy.
Oh, what a nice straight political answer.
No, 100%. No, it's totally true. I get in shit for drinking everyone else's stuff too, kind of thing. So, yeah, I very much like to try one of everything. Recently, we do a Mexican style lager.
Okay.
So that has a little bit of corn to it. So like a Corona. I've really been enjoying that. We did a Belgian blonde ale. That was one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite to date actually was a British brown ale. It's like a super old style of beer, not super trendy right now, but just kind of what I really like. It like suits my palate well.
Right. Personal preference.
Yeah, absolutely.
So one of the things I learned from you, and why I didn't really understand it before, but now I do, and now I watch for it, is so I have an issue with lactose. And so I have to be really careful with that. So, I can't, and I've always noticed when I had like regular, generic, run of the mills, mass production beers, it would make me feel like garbage, and I would have issues with it. Don't have any of those issues with yours. And then you woke me up to the fact that you don't have lactose in your beers.
So it's, lactose has come back, especially with a lot of craft, as they're using it as a late addition too. It gives a lot of mouthfeel. So you're looking at essentially that mouth coating feeling of when you drink milk, or you probably don't drink milk. So
nope.
Yeah. It's been an addition.
Coconut milk.
Coconut milk, kind of the same thing. I'm an oat milk guy myself, actually.
Yeah, for coffee, oat milk's great.
Absolutely, yeah. But all natural ingredients. The 4 main components of beer are hops, water, yeast, and barley. Not in that order, sorry. But that was a huge thing, was especially regionally, Steam Whistle was really big in that, and they always touted that they had like these 4 ingredients in their beer. There was no other additives.
Right.
And it's transparency too. Up until recently, there actually wasn't a requirement to show your ingredients. Actually, I still don't think there's a requirement to show ingredients in beer, which is kind of crazy because it is a food. So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, anything that you put into your body or consume, you'd think that there would be some legitimate formatting to how it's presented.
It's definitely regulated, but not so much with ingredients for whatever reason. So alcohol is a huge thing. Volume has to be on it, and you have to lay claim to we made this here kind of thing. But yeah, ingredients were never a thing. Now a lot of, especially craft, right, are hey, we're doing good stuff. It's fresh, it's clean, it's as natural as possible. So you obviously disclose that. But
yeah, well, for myself, I find like everybody that I know, so everybody on my hockey team, we all love the product that we have here. We all stop in, we buy it, we take it home. It's really not a big deal comparatively. It actually saves us time compared to going to some of the, like the little LCBO or anything like that in comparison because of the amount of traffic that they get. Even though you guys do have products in there, I find for myself, like you pass by this place probably at least once or twice a week. You're right off the highway, so it's like super easy. But then you can also find in so many different areas. So like, what are some of like your partners in the area that people can find your products at?
We've just recently kind of like pushed out and said, okay, we're going to form like these awesome partnerships. So doing sales, I try to make, again, partnerships, relationships, try to grow that. I don't want to just be a vendor to a lot of people.
Right.
That comes down to man hours and whatever, right? So you try to get as much face time and work together as much as possible. Early on, we've had like really good relationships with Tide and Vine. Actually, Empty Bellies reached out pretty early to us as well. We also do some good business with like the Garrison House out in Niagara on the Lake.
Yeah, they're awesome.
They're fantastic. Yeah. And we're looking to be in places that are impactful too, right? Like as a product, you can sell a beer anywhere.
Yep.
Number one, again, let's work with the people who want to work with us. And then number two, try to be influential, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, the goal in business is not to do business with everybody. And that's a common misconception, right? Is everybody's like, oh, we just want to do business with everybody. No, you want to do business with people who believe the same things that you believe.
Absolutely.
Because then it makes it fun. It makes it worthwhile. It doesn't feel so much like work.
It's also identity too, right? Like you align yourself with like-minded people, right?
Yeah.
So you try to think the same way, you try to do business the same way, right? And take care of each other, right? So
exactly. That's why we're here now.
Yeah.
That's exactly why we're here now.
Yeah.
Going back to the beer. So, and the production style.
Yeah.
So like we're back there and I'm walking through and I see, all these different clipboards are hanging on each one. And on each clipboard, there's a bunch of stuff written. There's like 3 different rows and they all mean something different and they're all at different levels. Like some of them have like a lot of writing. Some of them have like no writing.
Yeah.
It's like, what is that?
Just record keeping. Helps us identify where batches are at, right? Those would be readings that we'd take at intervals, like depending on where a beer is at in its life cycle, needs a little bit more or less attention.
Life cycle is in like the production cycle, like so how long it takes. Is it new? Is it medium? Is it old? Is it ready? Is it not ready?
Yeah, for the most part. So you have something super young, goes straight into tank, and then it starts to ferment, right? So that fermentation is where you're turning sugar into alcohol. After that, it's called a crash. So you're going to drop your temperature, and then you begin the aging process. And aging in a tank is a lot different than like aging in a can, right? So if something goes into a can, it starts to get old, but aging in a tank actually kind of develops your flavors, right? So it's another part of the recipe, for sure.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we're measuring production date. You're also going to have a measure of gravity, which is sugar, residual sugar in the product, the wort. And then obviously product is on there, and then temperature we log as well. So that logs your crash, and it kind of shows you when, okay, yeah, we started aging on this date.
And they're different for like everyone.
Yeah, for the most part. You have things that are very similar products, so maybe they follow a similar template. But again, depends how fast that sugar's going out and how happy your yeast is, and yeah, it's a bunch of,
we want happy yeast.
Always happy yeast.
Happy yeast. So that's the beer. So now we're going to transition to one of my favorite products that you guys have, and it's the seltzers, because you walked me through the difference between your seltzer and a lot of the other ones in the market, and I was like, come on, I didn't believe it. So I tested it at home on my own. I plugged my nose and I checked, and I was blown away at the difference. So the raspberry sumac is
kind
like
of our flagship.
Yeah, is like the really, really popular product. I haven't met somebody who's had it that didn't like it. So explain why that product is different, because it's it's like, what?
It's like a trade secret.
Yeah.
So for a lot of things, a lot of main corporate brands, or even just like flavored waters, right? This whole zero sugar craze that kind of went out. People started buying bubbly, aha, whatever it ends up being. You're not actually tasting any of those flavors. They're all just a smell. So it's a natural flavoring, they call them, which is essentially an extract. So you've extracted the aroma, and 80% of your taste is smell. So you're tricking yourself into thinking there's something there.
Right.
Yeah. So
which I was like, come on. And then you explained to me why yours is different.
Yeah. So we're trying to layer. So to have that natural component is just like that good handshake, right? So we raspberry sumac, for instance, we're using a little bit of raspberry extract, and then we have the sumac is actually all fresh, hand-picked, foraged sumac from the area, which is also good. We try to incorporate local products. We did a cherry bubble gum. The cherry was all from Cherry Lane. So we try to layer things out. A lot of the stuff we've done on site as well, like some of the citrus extracts and stuff we've done. But yeah, we try to give you some taste with the smell and gives it a little bit. And it's not zero sugar, but we try to keep them low and they're delicious.
Yeah, it's crazy, the quality difference. You wouldn't think, because a lot of people are buying, like, they're really popular now, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Seltzers, about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they kind of hit the market, and they've just kind of every year over year grown in interest. And I've tried a whole whack of different ones because I kind of like it. It's lighter. So, when you're not wanting a heavier drink like a beer, you just kind of want something lighter. It's nice. But then when I drink yours, like, it lasts longer. That's the thing that I've noticed is, as long as you have it like in a koozie or something and it's cool, with a lot of the other ones, after it's been sitting out for even half an hour, the flavor really starts to wear off quick. Yeah. Right. And you kind of just taste like chemical almost.
It's
the carbonated water.
So seltzer is kind of weird. So it's a huge trend product, right?
Caveat, not putting down any other competition. Don't sue me.
No, definitely not. Everyone has their niche. It's kind of a trend product for sure. And there's actually no description for a seltzer. Like, it's this super ambiguous term, right? So you have people doing seltzers out of wine, and there's some that are made with vodka, and there's some that are made with malt, like they're brewed, and there's gin. Yeah, like whatever. It's kind of become like alcoholic carbonated beverage, but not beer. Yeah. It's kind of the only
variation.
Yeah, like that's the only
there's like 11,000 flavors.
Yeah.
Beer's beer to most people.
Yep.
So yeah, there's a lot of people out there that no matter what kind of beer they have, it's beer.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
So having all those different flavors, colors of the rainbow, for some people, it's exciting.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's choice, right? Everyone wants choice. You want to be validated that this is what I like and it's the best. So
to validate what I'm drinking right now, you told me this was maple. What'd you call it?
It's a maple whiskey cider, actually.
A maple whiskey cider.
Yeah, so that actually
I didn't believe you that it would taste like maple. And it does, a lot.
I can verify it. There was a ton of maple syrup dumped into that.
Yeah, like, it's obvious, and it's fantastic.
It's super tasty. That's a small batch, so there's actually been so much draw for that, that it's something that... so it's actually a product from Niagara Cider Company. Sorry. So we work very, very closely with them. We have them in-house. We do some retail for them. We work with Matt, one of the owners, all the time. He's an amazing guy. Love him to death. He helps me so much. So it's one of their products, but it's been so successful that he's looking at doing extra batches, and he might be trying to do some other sales outlets for it. So
it's fantastic. It's a great product.
Yeah.
So you have the beer in-house, you have the seltzer in-house. Is there anything else you guys do in-house?
So we're looking to just keep growing, right? I think the philosophy, especially for on-site, which hasn't really taken hold yet, unfortunately. But for that, we're looking at only providing things that we do in-house, which would be awesome. So maybe one day we have a distilling license and we start doing that kind of thing. That's kind of been the vision. Cool. Yeah, absolutely. So we're looking at maybe doing some house wines, that kind of stuff. That was one of the big things why we're Blackburn Brew House and not Blackburn Brewery. Right? Yeah. So it's the house that brews, but what is the brew?
Right.
Yeah.
So it leaves it, again, ambiguous, so it leaves it a little bit open.
Yeah.
So you can not be...
It doesn't shoehorn you into a corner and we just make beer and whatever. Yeah. So a little bit of genius foresight from some of our owners there.
Yeah. That's awesome. So now we're going to get into some of the business stuff real quick. So when did the business open originally?
We opened in stages. So I kind of started February, March of
2019.
The one that sucked, 2020.
2020.
Yeah.
The first year that we
right before the pandemic.
Yeah, 2020.
Yeah.
Right when everything's hit the wall in March.
Yes. So it was like 4 walls.
I know that because I got married February 1st.
Oh, nice.
And we were on our honeymoon in the Canary Islands, and all the hotels were hitting outbreaks and shutting down, and we were scared like you couldn't believe. We didn't know we were going to make it back.
Well, it was
insane.
And not to minimize, it was serious back then, right?
Oh, yeah. Like what is this and what's going on? And nobody knew. And the hotel next to us, like they locked down the hotel for a month. Everybody that was there had to stay there. Yeah, we were so scared we were going to get stranded.
It's something that we've never seen before, right? Like the last pandemic like that was like
100 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're not used to it anymore.
No, it's been crazy.
Yeah.
So that's why it's hard to, it's almost like one of those things where it's difficult to nail down exactly like how things started and that, because you guys opened basically during the pandemic.
And we were doing production.
Yeah.
Way before we were inviting people in. Like we had online sales, but we didn't have a retail outlet or a tap room. So
because you couldn't.
Yeah. It was
nobody could come in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually we were essential.
Oh, right.
Yeah, we got a little bit lucky with that. So
essential.
It was June 18th of that year. I think we had our first like actual
soft
sale.
Launch. Yeah.
No, we had our first like online sale.
Okay.
Yeah, mostly friends and family for that first little bit.
Right. Okay.
And then I think it was August we started having people in, and that was still 50% capacity and patio only. And we were lucky we have a great patio. So
yeah, the patio here is fantastic. I mean, even the floor. So down there you have like just a gathering area with a bunch of tables, like standard bar restaurant kind of setup.
Yep.
But a lot cooler.
We're just trying to be
the wood, the metal, the concrete. Like it's a really cool vibe.
It's got a industrial, modern kind of thing going on,
which I love.
Yeah, for sure. It's awesome. Try to be inviting, right? Try to be accessible and inviting. I think has always been some of our big not mission statement, but like our ideals. Right?
Yeah.
So
it's how you want to appeal to people, right? It's kind of how you put your branding out there, how you want to be. It kind of all fits together. It's all part of the puzzle.
Yeah, absolutely. And craft beer has some reputation to some people, you know what I mean? So let's be inviting, let's be accessible, and let's be like welcoming. Like our pillars are kind of like local and craft and community, right? So let's be involved in our community and let's do craft products, right? Everything from the ground up where we can. And then let's look at being local and true to ourselves. And
which is where I met you.
Yeah.
Like that's how we met, right? Is you were doing a community event and, I happened to be there, supporting a friend.
A great friend.
A very good friend. Fantastic business partner as well. Carrie Benvenuti, Mortgage Architects.
Subtle plug.
Yeah. Well, when people are that amazing, you want to support them. And Carrie is amazing. So, she has a charity, No One Goes Hungry. We're doing an event here on the weekend to help raise funds for that. Beer flight tasting event that you're going to walk us through. It's just like when you have people around you that are that amazing, you got to go out of your way, do whatever you can to support them because they're the people that really light things on fire and get things to happen, right? And I'm not that person.
Yes, you are.
So, but I can be the support person. No, I can support that person.
Good people find good people.
That's true.
It is very true. So you try to branch out from that and help each other and do the best you all can.
Well said. Is there anything that I haven't asked you or anything that we should know about Blackburn?
That we're here. It's been a rough couple of years, so we're definitely looking to grow and looking to have fun and enjoy having people here.
So to go with that, so basically where you're located, because a lot of people don't know this area. It's fairly new in its development. So if you know where the bus depot is, it's right beside the bus depot.
Costco's the
I was just going to say, if you don't know where the bus depot is, where Costco is in Niagara Falls, just keep driving down Montrose Road. You're going to see Blackburn Parkway.
Yeah.
and then you turn on the Parkway, and you come to the front door.
We're that influential. We have a street.
Yeah. It's awesome. It's easy.
I started and I wanted to do a bunch of like guerrilla marketing with Costco and do like a partner drop off, right? Have a little shuttle that goes back and forth from Costco. So if you don't want to be the person shopping, you can come have beers and zip back and forth.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. I think we still should do it, or somehow sneakily get a camera in there because look at the gas station, right? Come have a beer, wait till the gas line goes down, and then go zip over and grab some gas, right? So play in that way, or yeah, no, it's definitely an area of town that is developing, right? We've got the hospital opening up a little bit.
Yep.
Tons of new
15,000 new homes going in.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So like it's a growing area.
I expect to see a little bit more of you out here.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Now that I'm moving closer, I'm going to be right down the road now.
Well, and hopefully you're selling too. That'd be
that too. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate you giving us access to the facility to do this.
Happy to
and
do
your
it.
time as well.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Cheers.
Have a good one.
You too.